Okay, so I said we'll be working with the dartless bodies. Now, if you check what we have on the board now, we have the dartless bodies. This is our CF and our CB. Now, the CF is the central front, while the CB is the central back. Now, take note, for those of us that have not done the dartless bodies, on Monday we'll be taking the class for all graduating students for dartless bodies. So please try and make sure you're on ground. If you're not on ground, we'll definitely send some of the videos for you, so which will guide you through on how to achieve the dartless bodies. Now, materials needed for the graduation robe. Now we are working with black and gold fabric. Please take note. Black and gold fabric. What we have here is what we are getting. Now the materials needed, the first one is non-stretchy dotches. Please, if you are getting the fabric, make sure you go for the non-stretchy dotches. The reason why we say you should go for the non-stretchy, we are looking for fabric that will not be difficult for you to work with. Are we taking note? The non-stretchy fabric dotches will not be difficult for you to work with. If you are working with the stretchy dotches, now as you are sewing, don't forget we have the gold part, where we attach the gold part to the sleeve. Now for the stretchy dotches, it might be difficult for you to sew on. So please take note, the non-stretchy fabric is what you're working with. Then the color is still gold and black. Now number 2, now we have the air stay and the paper stay. Now you can work with air stay and you can also work with paper stay. For air stay, the gold part where you attach this part to your CF, the CF front. Now we have the black and we have the gold. Now you're working with the air stay around this part here. Now it's advisable to work with paper stay on this part. The part where you attach to the sleeve. It's advisable you work with paper stay, not air stay. Now the paper stay make the fabric look firm and straight. If you're using air stay, by the time you apply your iron on the fabric, now the fabric might be looking kind of bent, which is not straight. You understand? If you're not careful, after sewing this, you notice it's not looking straight. So better still work with your paper stay for this part of the sleeve and air stay for this part of the fabric. The third one here, we have the zip. So I will explain that part where you attach your zip with the pattern. Now we have our hemming gun. Now for those of us that don't want to use thread, you don't want your thread to show. Are we together? For those of us that you don't want your thread to show, for the sleeve part and the down part, it is advisable you sew your hemming gum twice to your fabric and apply water on it, then you iron it to stick. Don't worry about using thread. It's advisable you work with what's it called, hemming gum ahead of thread. Now, how do we achieve our pattern? The first thing you don't need to do your shape bodies for this graduation. That is very important. You don't need it to be fitted. And you also need to draft out your sleeve pattern. Now, from the upper part, which is your shoulder part, after achieving your part, this is, if you check the neck very well, you notice this part that is coming down is your CF. So I need to write the front and the back to differentiate front and back of your pattern. Now you do this from your NP, the neck point. You connect it all the way down. How do we get to this down part? You are dividing this point into 3. Are we together? You are dividing this into 3. Then you are taking 1/3 of that measurement for the down part. The upper part is from your NP. Now the down part is 1/3 of the measurement. You understand? 1/3 of this down measurement from NP down 6 cm for miniature. P. You are dropping it down all the way to this point here. Then from this NP now you are taking out 6 cm for miniature, which is 12 cm for your big size. So after doing this, the 12 cm is from NP down to this point here. Remember I said you are dividing this point into 3. Then you take this one all the way down. That is for style 1. Now for style 2, we have 2 styles of this. If you want this to be around this point. The first one is from NP, which you want your gold part to show. Then if you don't want the gold part to start from NP, which what we have here, what we did here, we took 2 cm in from the button stand. Are we together? Now 2 cm from the button stand, you take the measurement and you mark from this point here. And you square all the way down. Now the 2 cm from the button stand, you also add additional 1 inch for zip allowance. Are we together now? Yes. Now you are taking 1 inch for zip allowance. The 1 inch square all the way down. Now you can use 1 inch for zip allowance and you can also use 2 inches for, it's advisable, standard is 2 inches. But for advanced students, 1 inch goes. So we have advanced students here, so 1 inch is what you're working with. So square down 1 inch so you don't waste your fabric. Now this is our zip allowance. So let me indicate it so we know where we have our zip. Now after taking this 1 inch here, now you have the 2 inches all the way down. Now these 2 inches you have here is the black fabric that you're seeing here. For us here, we have 1 inch here because this is the miniature form that we're working with. So for you now, you're having 2 inches for this point all the way down. Now with the 2 inches, remember the first one I said is from NP all the way down. We don't, if you don't want that one, you want to achieve what we have here. So you don't need this. Now what you need to do, you're taking the measurement now from NP, 6 inches in for miniatures, 12 for big. We are not working with miniature, so we're working with big. So it's 12 inches you are taking from NP out. Now you square down to this point here. How do you get this point? Remember I said you are dividing this into, bless you. Now you take your measurement all the way. Don't make it look straight because the pattern itself, the body form is not looking straight. So you are getting a curved. You can work with your curve, very important, but if you're using the curve, make sure you work with the straight part of the curve. So it will not be too curved, it will not be too looking, it will not be too straight. Now after doing this, now you panel this. This part we have here is the gold part. We have the gold, we have the black, and we also have the black here. Now you panel all this all the way from the shoulder down to the point. Don't forget to label it so you don't mix CD and CF together. After you panel it, you have your CF1 here, you have your CF2, you have your CF3. The CF1 is the black fabric. The CF2 is the gold fabric. Then the CF3 is the black fabric. Very good. Now you move to your back. Now the back part, if you notice what we have for the back part, we don't have any different color. You have a question?
And so you said that if we are taking, there is 12 cm from the NP.
From NPM.
To that place, we use a curve ruler, right?
Yeah, using the curve ruler, connect it all the way down.
Then if we are connecting from NP straight down, are we still going to curve that side?
If you are connecting from NP all the way down, you're still using a curve down. But from this 2 cm, you don't need curve. It's a straight line. So your 2 cm, your 2 inches is what you have all the way. Any other question? Come forward.
Okay, Mr. Faith.
Yeah, me too.
The 12 cm that you talk about from NP and
from NP backward.
Yeah, and the shoulder slant.
Yeah.
Is it like standard for men?
Standard miniature is 6 cm.
So no matter your body.
No matter your body, from 12 cm will work for you. Okay. Because your shoulder cannot be more than 12 cm. Your shoulder cannot be less than 12 cm too. Any other questions? So now if you look at the back now, you notice the back is not coming with any other color but black. The only difference we have here is the yoke. We have yoke for the back. Are we together? This upper part is known as the yoke for the back. Now how do we achieve this? What we did, you are taking the full roundness of your armhole. The full roundness of your armhole divided by 2. Once you take the roundness of the armhole divided by 2, take the back armhole divided by 2. If you are not working with that, you either work with your back width or your chest width. The back is the back width. You remember your vertebrate bodies, how you achieve the back width. Now you have your back width line, which is this. And you have your chest width, which is this. Now you're working with this point. Now from this point, this is where you have your yoke for the front, this is where you have your yoke for the back too. Now if you check the front very well, you notice we have yoke, but it's actually not really showing because of the yellow part of the fabric. We don't want much thread to be on our graduation rope. So that was how we did the yoke for only this part and only this part. Now we don't have the same yoke here. Are we together? Now look at this joining that we have here. This is the yoke for the front. We also have it around the side. Don't forget the fabric, your pattern is folded into two. If you are cutting, no, the cutting you have here. So if you check your shirt, your male shirt, you notice this joining here. It is known as yoke. This is actually on my back. So this is the yoke that you have from this point here. It's actually, if you check, even some female shirt comes with this same yoke, but it's actually not necessary. It's not really important. You can do a female shirt without putting yoke, but for male shirt, it's very, very important.
Why is it important?
It's important because you are differentiating between the yoke and the fabric itself. Now, if you have the yoke for the front, what you are using inside is the right side of the fabric, not the wrong side. It is known as signature, the signature of the fabric. That is what you are having inside. That's why you differentiate between the yoke and the down part of the fabric. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as facing, but it's almost the same thing as facing. Facing is different from yoke. Exactly. Your facing is, you are using your facing to turn the neck, so you have the edge of the fabric to be covered, you understand, to make it look neat. But the yoke is going below what you have as the facing. If you check this now, this is the standard measurement for yoke is 7 inches. But because for the graduation robe, it's actually not really worn by male alone, both male and female can rock it. So you don't really need to work with the standard measurement. So what you need to
It has a
do,
yoke as well.
this is a yoke. Thank God we have a lady that's rocking the yoke. Just look at what this Ola is putting on. Now we have the yoke.
as well.
Yeah, so you can, if you check this now, this is not like the 7 inches. This is half of the armhole. Exactly. That's exactly what we have here. Half of the armhole, or you work with either your back width or your chest width. The chest width is for the front. The back width is for the back. Any other question before moving forward? Any other question? Okay. So take the measurement across. Once you take the measurement across, differentiate between your yoke and your fabric. Now for the front, because we don't want our thread to be too much, I said what we did not add the yoke to this yellow part, this gold part, and this front. So what we did, we only have the yoke here. So differentiate, make sure you have this up and down. The reason why you are doing this, so you don't turn it upside down while joining, because this is very small. If you are joining, it is possible for you to turn it upside down. But when you have that on your pattern that you can differentiate up and down, then you know this part is coming down, is meeting the upper part of the down part of CF3. Are we making sense?
Yes.
Good. So once you do this, what you need to do, panel this all the way down and add your allowance on your fabric. Don't forget your allowance should not be more than ½ inch. Standard. ½ inch. By the time you have 1 inch after sewing, it will be looking kind of bulky. So ½ inch is the standard allowance measurement you have. It is not fitted dress, so definitely you know ½ inch will work for you. Also do the same thing to this part. Have your ½ inch allowance and label it. Now this is a straight line, which is the CF1. Now the CF1, it is important to you also have up and down. Now if you look at the CF2, the gold part, you can differentiate the neck and the down part. So you can also do without writing up and down for you. But because this is straight, now there's every possibility that you can turn and sew the down part to the up part. So on your pattern, make sure you indicate CF1 and up and down. And you also have your allowance here. Are we clear? Now moving to the back. Once you move to the back, now differentiate your yoke from the fabric. After you differentiate this, make sure you add your allowance of ½ inch on both the yoke and the down part of the fabric.
Yeah.
Add the 0.5 allowance. Now if you are cutting, this you don't add allowance to the armhole. I hope that's clear. Now this side is cut on fold. This part of the yoke is cut on fold. Now this part, because you have gathers for the back, how do we achieve our gathers? Times 3 plus 10. Good. Now take the measurement from this down part up from this point. Please don't take from this upper part, because the upper part is smaller than what we have here at this point. Are we clear? Now take the measurement from this point to this point. Whatever you have, whenever you get, multiply by 3 plus 10 cm. On a straight line, now the fabric will look like this, the back fabric will look like this. Now, I know the question will be, what will now happen to the curvy part of the angle? Now, after gathers, after doing your gathers, you know how to do your gathers when you sew with a loose thread to gather. After doing that, you can now curve the armhole to meet this down point. What you need to do, what you have from here to here, should be your length. Are we clear?
You're going to do that freehand.
Yes, you can do that freehand. Because when you attach your yoke to this point, the yoke is already giving you the line where your armhole starts from. We are still not clear with that part. Now look at the yoke. The yoke is the upper part. You are not doing gathers on the yoke. Now you have this curve that is showing. Now the down part, because the fabric we cut is looking straight, it's already looking straight all the way down. And it's not coming with curve. By the time you apply, after doing your guide, by the time you apply this to this point, you will notice the down part is looking straight, the upper part is looking curved. How do we achieve this? Use the guard of this one to curve all the way down. Now this is meeting here. After joining, not sewing, after joining. Now place them together. Now you see this upper part is looking curved. Now continue the line down to the gather's part to achieve this curve for the down armhole. Is that clear?
Yes.
If you do after joining, you get the wrong result. You understand what I'm saying? So it's better you cut before joining. So if you are joining, even when you want to extend, you can know how to gather that little part to make it look even. Are we clear? If you do after joining, now you will now be thinking of how to shape in the upper part. So it's better you just place them together. Now you'll be having something like this.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Now when you place it together, you've not joined, you've not sewn. Now just use your scissors to do the continuation of your curve. That is it. Now you can do your sewing. Is that clear? Don't forget this part of the back is still cut on fold. Are we clear? Yeah, after you're done with your gathers, this is what you are getting.
But when you will be doing this, sorry, you no longer do unfold. You have
to spread it. That's why I said don't forget this is unfold. Now you're having the full picture of how you want the back to be and how you want the upper part, which is the yoke. Is that clear? Place it together. You have the main. Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, for the darkness bodies, what we got our pattern, the neck. Are we using the same neck or we're still coming down?
Now, if you are sewing your bridal robe or any dress, you have your neck measurements. Compare it with the body's measurement and see if you are okay with that measurement. If you are not okay with the measurement, there's nothing wrong in you dropping down the measurement. Are we together? If the measurement is too down, you know how to add. This is what you do. On the pattern, take up and connect to your neck point. Don't extend this because this is already your shoulder. Take up and form a new neck with it. Do the same thing to your back. So you are getting this new neck for what you're looking for. Any other questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, yoke is always front and back.
No, yoke is always at the back.
No, what I mean front and back is that, like this, this is the yoke.
Yes.
There's another fabric
Inside. Yeah.
So if you're doing shirt, you cut this
off from the pattern.
Yeah, then you do the two and is it the same principle with this one?
You are doing the same to this one because you have gathers for the down part and the upper part there is no gathers. If you don't join it, the gathers will not come out. Now you are doing this one the same way you achieve your shirt when you remove the yoke from the down part of the fabric.
That's the same way you're going to sew this?
Yes.
Okay. And then this will be in the middle.
This will be in between. You know how you do your sewing and you turn it? Yes. And another way you can also do this, by the time you join this together, fold the one inside. You can use your gum stick to hold it first or use your pin to hold it first before you sew it together with the inner one.
Okay, then turning the shoulder and cut.
Turning the shoulder is the same way you turn your shirt shoulder. Now you have this double of this. Now the back upper part is coming with two, which is the back yoke and the inner part. the front shoulder is only one piece that we have here. Now you are putting the shoulder in between the two fabrics of what you have here. You know how you put it in between, then you sew from the wrong side, then bring it out, it's looking neat like so you don't join and make the shoulder look rough. Is that clear?
So you're trying to say, what you're trying to say is that the front has the facing.
The back. The front doesn't have the facing. The facing she is talking about now is the regular round facing. There is facing here, but the joining, everything goes in between the two fabrics that you have here. Do you understand it like that? Now you have one fabric here. You understand? Everything goes in. Now this is the back yoke. Don't forget you have double here. Now the front is entering in between the two fabrics that you have here. Is that clear? Any other questions? Are we sure we are clear? We are not clear, so we still have questions.
Can you please take that part again? I'm a bit
good.
confused. Thank you.
Now look at the back.
Yes.
Now, this fabric you are seeing for the yoke, we have two fabrics here.
Yes.
Now the first one is joined together with this, then the inside one, you can also join both of them together by placing both fabrics like this, then this one in between, sew and take them up.
Yes.
Yes, so that is one. Another way to achieve it now is you can join these two together first. Then the inner one, fold your sewing allowance of 1/2 inch. You know the joining here is the sewing allowance you're joining.
Yes.
Now you also have another space sewing allowance for the other one that is inside here. Now fold that sewing allowance, which is 1/2 inch, then iron it with papers, with gum, gum to the fabric, or you can use pin to hold it. Then sew from the right side. Please don't sew from the wrong side. If you sew from the wrong side, you won't get the straight sewing. So from the right side to hold what you have inside. Even when the one inside is not really straight, it won't show because nobody is checking what is inside. But try and make sure what you have here is very straight. I've answered the question.
Yes. Thank you.
So the joining, you are done with the joining for the back. Now the joining for the front, if you check what we have here, we have the panel for the front. Now this is our CF3. This is CF2, this is CF1. First of all, you join CF1 to CF2 from this your side, say this is the allowance that we have here. Now you also join these two together, CF2 and CF3, with the same sewing allowance that we have here, all the way down. So if you are joining, please take note, hold the down part. Are we together? Hold the down part, make sure you are having a straight line from the upper part to the down part, not the one that you, so you now have like 10 inches. You understand that happens actually. So what you do now, hold them together and make sure once after doing your sewing all the way down, one is no longer than one. Even when one is longer than one, make sure you're having an even line from this point to this point, even if it's the side that you want to trim. Now you can now trim it to make everything equal. That is why it's always advisable to make your fabric longer than the exact measurement. So by the time you are trimming to get your exact measurement. Are we clear? Now, same thing goes to this other part. Whatever you are doing here is what you are doing here, because here the pattern is coming as two pieces for the front. Now, you're also applying the same technique to this other part. Now, what you have left now is the zip allowance. Now, for the zip, you notice here we did this thing, the whipping of the front part before applying the zip. Just to make sure your work is not looking rough. So after doing this part now, you can now apply your zip. You can do the invisible way of fixing zip with the same without lining. Can you see it?
Yes.
Without lining, so you can work on your invisible footer so you can get a straight line, not the one that you sew, the zip will be coming out. Now after sewing all the way down, if your zip is not this long, so you can work with this, you open and close zip and actually do justice to what we have here.
Did you use any gum to hold the down?
The down, we'll get to that side.
When the front going to be open.
That's why we have zip.
What I mean is that where the zip will, I don't think we'll get a zip that will be touching my.
That's why I said if you don't have a long zip that will get to the down part, work with the open and close zip, the long open and close zip that will get to where you want
The
to get
30 inches
Can we
long.
use Velcro?
Oh, they have 30.
Yes.
If
Is it
you
the
are-
30 inches long?
They have 30
zip?
inches long
Yes.
zip.
They have long zip,
30
open and
inches.
close.
Yes, you have
Yes.
30 inches.
That is will
But
be like
you
that.
have open-
Yes, it's still okay if
now
it's like
30
that.
inches, your zip don't necessarily need to be all,
All the way down.
You understand? Now, if your zip is getting to your
Your
knee,
knee is okay.
that shows that the zip is at least is okay for the standard zip. You understand? Now, your question is if you can work with Velcro. Now, if you look at this now, we don't need Velcro for this because the robe is already coming with the zip front. Now, if you have the zip front all the way down to this point, by the time you apply Velcro to this, now you are overlapping
Yeah.
and it will look tacky. Is that clear? Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes.
For the front, what you need is zip. The back is comfortable. Any other question? You don't need hook and eye because hook and eye, how many hook and eye will you need? If you need hook and eye here, that means the whole front, the entire front will be open. But that's not the design we are doing. Are we good? Any other questions? Are we sure we are clear with the front and the back? If you have any question, ask, so go move to the sleeve.
The neck.
The second, you have any question? Okay. For the neck, check here, the back you don't need facing. For the front, you need facing because of this edge. Very important. You understand? You need facing for the front neck. So the edge of the neck will be looking straight. So moving forward, now the next part here is a sleeve. The sleeve, remember I said you don't need to draw your sleeve pattern for this. So what you need to do for your sleeve now is take the roundness of your sleeve. Are we together? Take the roundness of your arm back and front. Take the roundness of your back of your arm back and front. Multiply by 3. You can do plus 8, you can do plus 5. Now the reason why I say you can do plus 5 is don't forget the armhole is not straight, it's round, and most times you get more measurement from the circular form than the straight line. Now after taking this measurement, you multiply by 3 plus 10 or plus 5, then you can do 5. Now take the measurement, your pattern, the fabric will be looking like this. You don't need pattern for this. The upper part is where you need your gathers. Are we together? Now, what you need to do, fold this fabric into 2. Now, look at what we have here. You are folding just one of the fabric. Now, the front, the left-hand side of the front is coming with this gold part fabric. Are we together? Now, the right-hand side is not coming with any fabric. Good. So now you have, don't forget the sleeve is 2. You are making 2 pieces for your sleeve. Now you have 2 of these. Take one of them, the one that you want to use for the right hand side, for the left hand side, sorry. Now you fold it into 2. Once you fold it into 2, take the measurement divided by 3 again. Are we together? Take the measurement. Let's say this fabric is divided by 3. This is what's it called? Half of it. Now take the measurement from this point to this point. Divide it by 3 and use 1/3 of that measurement. I'll take that again. Now this is my full sleeve measurement. The full sleeve measurement. You know when you fold it into 2, what you will be getting is just this. Are we together? If you fold it into 2, what you'll be getting is this. Now I said take the measurement from this point. Now this is our upper part and this is the down part. Now take the measurement from this point to this point. Divide it into 3. Let's say we have 15 inches from here to here. Divided by 3 is 5. 1/3 of that measurement is still 5, right? Good. Now take 1/3 all the way down. This is the cut on fold part. All making sense? When you fold the fabric into 2, you have one part that's cut on fold. You have the other part that is 2 pieces. Now the cut on fold part, you take the 5 inches all the way down. Do you understand what we're doing now? The cut on fold part, not the 2 pieces part. Now, when we take this side, the 5 inch all the way down, if you open this, by the time you open this, what you are getting is 10 inches. Now you see I have 10 inches here, 10 inches for the other one, which makes it equal to what you're looking for. So what's that still confused? Alright. Are you together with us? Are you okay with this mention? Who's it?
I'm still confused.
Okay.
We have a video. It's when you do it.
Now look at it here. The first question I said, this is half of the measurement. If my fabric, after taking the radius of my arm, multiplied by 3 plus 5 is giving me this. Are we together? Now I said fold your fabric into 2. This is fast.
Yes, I'm ready.
Now fold it into 2. If you fold it into 2, what you will be getting is this. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, you know when you fold it into 2, you fold the fabric into 2, one part is cut on fold.
Yes.
Then the other part is 2 pieces. Now, I said take the measurement from the upper part, from this edge to this edge, divided by 3. Whatever you get, and I said, let's say we have 15 inches. Now, 15 inches divided by 3 is 5. Are we together? Now, we have 5 inches. Now, the part where we have cut on fold. Let's say, okay, let's move to this side. Since we are used to our cut on fold always being staying here, so let's move to this side. Now, from this point here, here is cut on fold. Now, from the cut on fold, take 1/3 of that measurement. What is 1/3 of that measurement? It's not 5 inches. Now, you take the 5 inches from this point and you mark it here. Take the 5 inches from the down part, you mark it. You square all the way down. Are we together now? Now we have this left. Now if you take the measurement from this point to this point, it's giving us 10 inches. Because we remove 1/3 of this measurement that we have here. Now if you open this cut on fold, what we are still getting is 10 inches. That is exactly what we have here. So when you fold this into, from this point to this point, it's same as this point to this point.
Yes.
Are we making sense?
Yeah.
From this point to this point is the 5 inches I just talked about. From here to here is 5 inches. But when you spread it, you are getting the full 10 inches. Is that clear? Now what you do now is, from this point that you have here, now you can now drop down the measurement for the gold. Now we use 3 inches for this because it's miniature. You can use 6 inches for big. This is the gold. Now the spacing between this and this for the next gold should be the measurements you have from this upper part to this part. Are we clear? Now the spacing, this is gold. Before you get the next gold, take the measurement of this point to this point. Whatever you have here is what you are using. Now the 6 inches is together with 1 inch, up and down for the gold. Now we are left with how many inches? 5 inches, right? Good. Now the 5 inches, now you take the measurement from this point here to this point to get 5 inches. You square. Add additional another gold. Exactly. Now you take from this point to this point. The spacing should be the same with this. Now you add another gold. Now we have 3 steps. Gold. Question.
Sorry, sir. The gold should be on my right, should be on the folded part, right?
No, the gold is on the left hand side first.
Okay.
Yeah. Not the right hand side. Look at it.
Okay, on the left
No,
hand.
don't forget you are actually sewing it in school, so definitely we'll guide you through, so don't be scared.
From the shoulder, this, so from the measurement,
From,
measurement from this point.
remember how you get your top hand measurement? Your top hand measurement. You don't sleep. Your top hand measurement is 9 to 12 cm below the shoulder blade. 9 to 12 cm below the shoulder blade standard. Now the widest part of the hand, that is where the gold starts from. Exactly. The widest part of the hand, that is where your gold starts from. Then from that point you start getting your decision. So let me attend to your question again.
Okay, so I was asking that my gold, you measured 5 inches,
Yeah.
and when you now unfold it, that becomes 10 inches.
Yeah.
That's where my gold is supposed to be, right?
Your gold now is, look at what we have here. We have 5 inches here, 5 inches here. Now your gold is at the midpoint, not all the way. Look at what we have here. Can you see it? This is the joining. Now the gold is not going all the way to this further point. The gold is at the midpoint here. Now you have 10 inches here. From this point now, you're using 1/3 for the first stage. When you open this, what you are getting is the same 10 inches. Now this part, one part is 5 inches, the other part is 5 inches, which gives us 10 inches by the time you join it from this point here. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. We'll see. Any other questions? Now the question is, how do we achieve the roundness of it? By the time you do your gathers for the upper part, this is where we have our gathers. By the time you do your gathers here, you don't really need to curve, what's it called? The crown of the sleeve. Now when you have your gathers, the fabric is no longer straight. Are we together? Once you have your gathers, your fabric is no longer straight. Now it can go all the way. You don't need to shape in the sleeve to get your crown. The only difference is for the fact that you are getting gathers here, you are not seeing the crown of your sleeve. Just make sure whenever you get to this point, you make it fit or suit what you have for the armhole of your graduation robe. Let's say after taking your gathers, you now notice you're having 40 inches for the armhole here and you're getting 35 inches for your sleeve. What do? You loosen it a bit to make it sit, to get the same 40 inches for the armhole here and 40 inches for the sleeve. Any other question? Any other question?
Okay, the length will be your desired length.
Your length is your desired length. Don't worry, your desired length is your waist. You're making a long sleeve.
Okay?
Yeah. Your desired length should be the waist. If you go through that picture very well, you notice the graduation gown is getting to this point.
Which picture?
You have the, we'll send it to the group. We'll send it to the group.
Mr. Fitz, the back side is longer than the front.
It's actually loose. It will look good, you understand? It's not like fitted. If it's fitted now, you start thinking it's not good. But the fact that it's very loose, you understand? That's why I said you're not doing shape sleeve and you're not joining sleeve pattern for this.
Because I've seen like a robe like this with whatever, with the sleeve, that
Yeah.
but this place will not be free. It will have some kind of cuff like this.
No, this one is not coming with cuff. That is why we did the loose. I understand what you're saying. There are some that comes with cuff.
Yeah.
You now have gathers
Yes.
around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You have gathers. Yes, I've seen that too. But this one we are working, we just want a uniform gradation. But not the one that we have the one with sleeve, the one with gathers, we have the one with short sleeve. Because left for some people will tell you they will prefer the one, the short sleeve too. And so on that day it will now look funny. Some will tell you they prefer the short sleeve and the short gradation.
Mr. Fitz, the back side is longer than the front side. Is it because of the gather?
Yes. Now, remember I said after doing your gathers, the crown is not looking straight. Are we together? Now the crown is not looking straight. And look at what we have here. After doing that much gathers, this down part is now longer than this other side.
Okay. So what's the desired length?
The desired length is, for desired length for the graduation gown, now we are doing below the knee.
It doesn't have to be like all the way
No,
down.
we are doing below the knee.
Like 3/4.
Yeah, you can do 3/4, you can do ankle level if you're okay with the ankle level.
Well, you can do ankle level.
You can, why
I
not?
think ankle level is
It has to
better.
be the same length.
Uncle Ed.
How?
No, if it's ankle.
If it's ankle level,
Is Uncle Ed?
that's why We are doing below. On that day, you are making what you definitely have for us. No, the reason why we should do that is dressing. A lot of us don't know how to sew this. And as a fashion designer, at least even if you don't know how to make some things, but graduation dress is very simple to make. Yes, it's very simple to make.
Okay. With your help and God, it's possible.
We have the best illustrator, so why should we
No, this is what and craft. They don't know. Okay, neck is not a good thing.
So when they make it, they give it for free or?
It's working.
When somebody makes it,